Hello there, everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful day from anywhere you are watching us around the globe. Welcome to another Meta Talk by Metagate Summit. My name is Salman Halawi, and I'm your host for today. I am an entrepreneur, futurist, keynote speaker, and founder and CEO of Meta Designers, a Web3-based services marketplace connecting brands with trusted Web3 service providers from all over the world. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Julian Banks, who is an entrepreneur, journalist, DJ, and record producer, and also happens to be the founder and CEO of Univox, a next-generation entertainment platform powered by Web3 and partnered with Snoop Dogg on their viral NFT project. Mr. Julian, welcome to the stage. We're so happy to have you here. Before we start, I would just love you to give us an introduction about yourself and how you ended up stumbling around the world of Web3 and the metaverse.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I started out at Creative Artists Agency, which is a talent agency here in LA, and essentially worked in the music department and worked on contracts, and really just got to see the inner machinations of the music world, how it was built. From live events to touring, music promotion, publishing, and all of that. So it was a great start out here. And then from there, formed a music studio in Venice. So it was an aggregate collective of like 10 or 11 of us, composers, DJs, electronic producers, and, we do commercials, short films, trailers for movies. And then basically got into NFTs, because I did a song with Snoop Dogg and reached out to his son Cordell, who's really guiding the trajectory for Snoop. I think he's just really on the forefront of this tech, and reached out to him because we did a song 2 years ago, and basically just packaged that song with some art, animated the art, and turned it into this 10,000 piece iterative project. And layered on top of that was utility. So you were able to get, a free concert with Snoop at his compound in Inglewood, and then meet and greets, VIP, different little nuggets and cool things that you could do with Snoop for buying this NFT. So that was really my introduction into it. And then from there started Univox, which is this kind of amalgamation of music, gaming, esports in the metaverse. And we do a bunch of events, live events, and then we map that in the metaverse. So up and coming, we're going to be doing Formula One. We just did Formula One in Miami, but we're going to do Formula One in Vegas for their inaugural Vegas run, and then map that into the metaverse and have tokens, AR, virtual reality. So yeah, that's where we're at right now.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful. Indeed, the world of NFTs has been unraveling in the last few years to turn into something pivotal, and I would really like to know what you think, as the CEO of Univox, that Web3 technologies, or how you think these Web3 technologies are revolutionizing the entertainment industry, and what impact that has on the metaverse.
Sure. Yeah. I think with tokenization, you essentially enable the creation of these unique digital assets, and that can be in the form of artwork, music, videos, virtual fashion, and you can tokenize these creations as NFTs, and you essentially establish, I think, three things. You have provenance, you can track the record of who owned the NFT, and then you have scarcity, and then authenticity, with the art. And I think it really just allows the artist to sell their assets. You don't need any intermediaries, none of these monolithic central authorities to guide that. And then also the artists have the royalties, which is an amazing part. Now you have ability to earn in perpetuity. So you have, ongoing revenue streams for yourself. Then you also have, enhanced fan engagement. You can go to these concerts and it's not just a static performance. You can actually engage, and there's little AR tokens that you can engage with, little activations, installations within that. And then offer exclusive perks, kind of like what I before with Snoop is doing limited edition content, backstage access, virtual meet and greets, and then really just enabling these virtual concerts and events. So, with Travis Scott and all these, concerts with Marshmello, you have the ability to, not just have a static environment of like 8,000 people. You can now have millions of people across the globe tune in, and be part of that, from a fan experience, and then from a brand experience. You're able to kind of touch all of these different new fans. So I think all those things are amazing for music industry, entertainment industry in general, virtual fashion, art, and everything. So
Indeed. I mean, what NFTs uh, opened for the industry and for artists especially is it really reduced the fractionalization that was in the market, the fractional share that the artist gets after the record label uh, does all that it does and gets all that it does, and it also gives the audience, um, or the fans, a more, if you want, authentic relationship with the artists and the people in the entertainment industry. Now, moving on, how do you think NFTs are going to be influencing the proof of ownership for the holders? Um, how do you think proof of ownership is is going to moving forward in the next few years in the industry?
I think really just like I said, provenance, where you're able to kind of track. I just watched this documentary on real world art theft, and even if you went through a reputable art dealer, you still had the chance of being scammed or ripped off because you couldn't track the history of that record. So now when you have this, with like CryptoPunks or Bored Ape, you can track who the initial owner was, know that it's authentic, know that it's not ripped off, not a scam, and that creates that scarcity and authenticity with those NFTs. And then you can have like cross-disciplinary collaborations, with artists, musicians, developers. You can tokenize these event tickets. And then, I don't know if most people realize, but like David Bowie back in the 90s did something called Bowie bonds, which was essentially selling part of his publishing catalog so that artists or fans and users could basically participate in the revenue of that. And it was earning, I think, 7% over like standard treasury bonds. So he was kind of like the progenitor for all of this. And then, coming into today's times, you really have this, tokenization, which we're concerned about in like the live events area, which we think will just revolutionize the way event tickets, publishing, and everything. And then monetizing for artists is amazing because before, on Spotify, you get 0.0001, for a play. Now you have all of these young artists that are coming up that are making millions of dollars sometimes, and all their art is being appreciated. And you're going into kind of like these little microcosm fan communities where they can create their own groups, off of these platforms like Nifty Gateway and Foundation and all of these different places. So I think it's an amazing new world for all of us.
Yeah, yeah. You touched on a lot of important points here. And, I mean, one thing I think a lot of people here would like to know. I'm personally a Snoop Dogg fan. I've been listening to his music since I was a teenager. And I think a lot of people would love to know more about the project you collaborated on with Snoop Dogg and how you intend to take that project into the metaverse, as you said, in the roadmap of the project.
Yeah, it started out with this artist. I don't know if you've heard of Bobalex. It's like those elephant sculptures. So we partnered with him and essentially made like a Snoop Dogg chromed out physical version of it. And, he worked out of China to get 10,000 pieces of these physical pieces. So it was really like a physical digital experience. Like if you bought the NFT, you got that physical item. And then you also have that digital item in the metaverse that you can put into skins for any games, and it's cross-platform use. And then, like I said, yeah, doing like the utility as well. So basically having, free concerts with Snoop and meet and greets and things like that. And then I'll do, production with some of these artists and put their name as a writer, producer. So just bringing that fan experience in. Before you couldn't do that. It's really just like an MP3 wave file that you listen to. Now you have like this very, cross-disciplinary world, merging everything, so you can have this music piece that started out as a music piece initially and then becoming this NFT, which you can now use in games, so music to games, and then also in sports. So it's like you're encompassing all of these different realms. I think it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, definitely you are bringing in a lot of different realms and a lot of different disciplines in the industry. And just a few days ago, now we're seeing how AR and VR is growing in the metaverse as well. And just a few days ago, Apple launched or announced an MR device. Uh, MR is basically uh, virtualizing the real world in a not so virtual way. Because you know how VR is 75% virtual and MR is in between AR and VR, in between the 25% and the 75%. How do you think these devices, right? These technologies can influence perhaps the concert scene, the event scene moving forward.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. I watched all of those videos for it. And I think it's cool because, yeah, you have Apple, you have, access to 2 billion users right there. And I think that's what they were struggling with is the ability to get all of those users, especially with like Oculus and PlayStation. It was really like just the gamers that were involved. And now you have everybody that has, a MacBook and interested in all of these Apple tech will start to suddenly kind of get the idea that this is a normal transition. I think it's going to take a while because like as you saw with the first iterations of the MacBook, it's going to be clunky. I think it has like a 2 hour battery right now. And I mean the visuals look stunning. It looks amazing. So I'm happy to do it. And I think it's the next step too, because it's AR too, like you said, mixed reality. So it's like I think it's that perfect transition, and you can see your eyes through it, so you can
Exactly.
actually engage with the real world as opposed to just being shut off. So
Exactly.
that's also kind of what I'm worried about too. Though even if you have this device, it really is like a solitary experience because it's growing up when you have like movies with your family and things like that. Now you're just going to be in your own. I'm sure they're going to have more integrations into like including everybody, maybe watching it together. You can share screens, things like that. But I'd love it, and I can't wait till it's like just glasses that you can actually wear, or even contact lenses. They're doing. I think they're already being made right now to do that. And I think it's just going to enhance everything. I don't think it's going to. There's like pros and cons with it, but I think it's going to enhance everything that we're doing. Just having strengthened brain power, just being able to even edit and code faster, and integrating chat GPT into it. I am like concerned with the Apple lawsuit and with Unreal Engine, just because I know Apple is going to be making this with Unity, or it's seamlessly integrated with Unity, I think.
Yeah.
And Unreal Engine is just like this beautiful. Everything they're doing right now is stunning. So I hope they can have that technology in the for developers to create with Unreal Engine and put that into these glasses or into the headsets, which I think they will be soon. I think you can still integrate it. I think the lawsuit, there's like 9 points. The last point was not being able to link to outside purchases, which I think they were doing with a lot of it. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I hope Unreal Engine, that's like my main thing, because we develop a lot in Unreal Engine. So for these live concerts that you spoke about, it's like we're creating all these virtual live environments and mapping it and doing everything in Unreal Engine. So I hope that can kind of translate into the Apple Pro, because yeah, I would love to have like one area that we focus on, like maybe putting all of this into the Apple headset.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Uh, Beautiful opinions, beautiful take on the AR, VR, MR dilemma going on at the moment. For me, honestly, I would just love to put on a headset and watch a live concert instead of watching it on a laptop or on a phone. You'd be watching that live concert as if you're there while you're still in your living room or in your kitchen or just walking around. And
mm,
that is something that is beautiful. It's something that creates a lot of accessibility. There is a big social impact, as you did mention. People are becoming much less social uh, due to how immersive these worlds will become. But definitely, with time, companies are going to have to create incentives for people to be human
mm.
again. Uh,
Yeah,
Now,
totally.
moving on to our next question. Uh, what do you think the challenges are going to be for people in the entertainment industry, integrating into such a technical industry or an industry that is still so technical, really technical at the moment?
I think it's going to be easier and easier and more seamless. I mean, you look at like the programs like Logic and Pro Tools, everything that we produce in, and those programs started out pretty complex, and now anyone can kind of start to pick it up. It's different if you can create great content and art out of it, but to be able to use it, and that I think that's where kind of like Unreal Engine. I think Unreal Engine is going to be a lot like Pro Tools, Logic. I think artists are going to start incorporating that into all of their um, content creation. Like it's going to be, when you think of making music, you're going to think of now also that visual element as well. Especially like when I'm creating music, like I'm also thinking of in my head like music videos and all of these cool things that I can add to it. So I think artists are going to start learning more, and you can go on Udemy and things like that and learn basic C++, and even in Unreal Engine, you don't need to know C++ really. I mean, you can use blueprints so they can kind of like, you can partition all these nodes and connect them together. So I think it's going to become easier and easier. And you see with every update with Unreal Engine, it becomes so much easier and all the visuals become way better. So, and I hope that like all of these platforms can start using this, because you look at a lot of these metaverse companies. No, I mean, no offense, but it's just like it's very basic 2D. I'm like, I would never want to go and spend all my time in that environment. I really want to immerse myself in all of these like Unreal Engine worlds that they have for you. You can create. It's literally endless.
Yeah,
So hopefully, there's going to be more developers. I think with like they're going to release the SDK, I think, for Swift and the Apple coding. So developers, once this headset in 2024 is going to be released, can start kind of loading all that content in there. So I think leading up to that, hopefully a lot of musicians, artists, and everybody will start kind of creating on their own in Unreal and Unity and all these programs. So
indeed. Um, I mean, what we can all agree on, I think everyone who is working in the metaverse, on the metaverse, for the metaverse, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to name it, is that it's going to take time for us to reach a place where the infrastructure allows for us to have a fully hyper realistic metaverse developed on Unreal Engine at top 8K graphics. I mean, accessibility would be a major concern if we were to talk about it. But creativity wise, what Unreal Engine allows you to do is just basically uncapping your potential. And speaking of creativity, there's a huge conversation going on for the past few months between creatives and between builders and developers in the Web3 space about AI and the rise of AI. What do you personally think about AI in the creative industry? And do you think that it could enhance the job of a producer or perhaps maybe even a creative on the metaverse?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I use ChatGPT every day to help with that. And especially like with coding, even for Unreal Engine, you can get snippets of code to build that in. So I use it all the time. And then, we're developing these programs like music companions in the metaverse and using AI, just in like the music creation process. I always wanted AI in like a music mixing aspect, because they can basically, you can analyze the frequencies. It shouldn't be manual, I don't think. Obviously you want like a producer's touch, but I think, the ability to like analyze the different frequencies and attenuate with AI, I think will be great. So making music in that sense. And I think with videos too, I just watched something where it's like it goes through your entire video, with like a podcast where you have three different cameras and it chops up immediately everything for you.
Yeah.
So it's just going to make everything more seamless and easy, I think, especially for people starting out. Once they start getting into it, it's like you're not going to have this big barrier. Um, so yeah, I think that makes it much more seamless.
And yeah, definitely it does. And over time, what's your projection uh, of the industry, uh, of the creative industry, and the impact of the metaverse on the creative industry, the impact of AI, let's say for the next 5 to 10 years? I mean, with McKinsey projecting the metaverse to reach a market size of $5 trillion by 2030, this is definitely a massive industry to look at. And I would love to know your thoughts on where this is heading from the creative industry, from the entertainment industry.
Yeah, I mean, that McKinsey report, I think they also said 5 trillion was a little low when they released that. So I think, yeah, I think it's going to be. I mean, if you look at the gaming industry last year, $200 billion just with games, and then half of that was rent to own. So as soon as you like transform this $100 million economy for a rental infrastructure into an ownership model, then just with gaming alone, you're going to get to that 5 trillion. I mean, it's going to be 30 to 50 factor times growth scale, I think. And then not including, real estate, music, everything else into that. It's going to be much more. I think it's just getting that adoption. So I think in the next 5 to 10 years, all the tech is going to become more seamless, more integrated, smaller, faster, more efficient. These Vision Pro goggle headsets will turn into contact lenses in the next 5 to 10 years, and then it's also convincing the public to use that. And so yeah, I think with us, for what we're doing is like not really trying to convince the public right now. We're going to be bringing all these massive NFT projects that are already out there that have all these fans, like on OpenSea, if they've sold 10,000 generative pieces, it's like what you do with these pieces. You can have them in a virtual gallery, you can have them as skins, but in our metaverse, you have each is sectioned off where you have these different worlds where you could enter like a Bored Ape world, and in that world you have different concerts that you can go to and stuff like that, as opposed to having, I think now everybody's doing these silos, like they'll create their own metaverse here, they'll do this, or here. We're making it all into kind of this one unified approach. And then also, yeah, with like the live element, I think that's a great way to on-road people into this environment, because people want to see live concerts. As soon as you're there, you can kind of start integrating the AR, the VR into it seamlessly, so it doesn't seem like you're pushing this tech and onto these new fans. So yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. The next 5 to 10 years
Well,
will be exponential growth. So
yeah, beautiful take on the metaverse and on where the metaverse is going. Uh, Julian, we are so happy to have you here. We are honored to have you as a speaker at our upcoming Metagate Summit. And your perspective has been very important uh, in terms of where the metaverse is headed as a creative from the entertainment industry, where you see this is going, and all of that. Uh, Now, one final question is, with everything happening in the metaverse and with all of the events going on and the webinars and the seminars and the need for people to get more information as to where this industry is going, how important do you believe events like Metagate Summit are in fostering innovation within the metaverse industry? And what are your expectations for this year's summit?
I think it's crucial to have all of these webinars and podcasts and summits. I mean, it's where you really have knowledge sharing and networking. And the last one that I went to was an animal concerts. I was on a panel there, and everybody that I met, I'm still in contact with on the panels. We're starting companies together, working together, partnerships. So we're going to be doing, I think, 15 over Dubai, Spain, Italy, and just like it's really cool to see all the different areas what they're involved in, and different markets like Japan is involved, like their prime minister is very crypto friendly. Asia, I think Hong Kong, they're doing initiatives with crypto blockchain investment firms. So you have all of that, you're breaking down all these geographic barriers for what you guys are doing. And, you're showcasing all these emerging tech from all these cool creators across the world. You've got, these thought leadership, you have insights, all these cool, keynote speeches. And I really think it's just that collaboration standpoint. So I think as soon as you get a bunch of people that are all interested in the same thing, and seeing how they can kind of extrapolate that into the future.
Yeah, I mean, Julian, we're very happy to be having you at this year's Metagate Summit and having other thought leaders, pioneers, business leaders, founders, CEOs from all over the world inside of this industry talking about the business applications and where all of the industries are headed in the metaverse. Thank you for your time. And thank you, everybody, for watching this episode. Follow us on Instagram if you still haven't, Twitter, all of our social media. We have a lot of surprises coming in the next few months. And we look forward to seeing you at the summit, Julian. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I look forward to it.
Watching.
Thanks, Salman. Thanks, Laura. Appreciate it.